James here from GOODGUITARIST.com, and today I'm going to show you how to learn every important guitar chord in 5 minutes. And when I say important, I mean the ones that you will use like 99% of the time, no matter what kind of music you're into or your skill level. These are the shapes that everybody uses all the time. And I'm not just going to show you how to play them. I'm also going to share some tips and tricks that I've picked up over the past 15 years of teaching guitar. Real quick, if you enjoy learning guitar with me, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and check out my free resources down below, including my crash course that gets you playing real songs, even if you've never picked up a guitar before. Now, before we start the timer, I'm just going to list all the chords that we'll be learning. We're going to learn C, A, G, E, D, A minor, E minor, D minor. Notice that C minor and G minor are missing. That's because they're bar chords. They're way too hard at this point in guitar. But I am going to show you the F chord, which it's usually a bar chord, but I have a simpler way of doing it. Anyways, let's get going. Let's start that timer. First chord we're going to learn is E. And for that one, I'm going to put my ring finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, right up close to the fret, and then my middle finger on the 2nd fret of the A string. Note, I can't get right up to the fret, but I get as close as I can. Then my index finger on the 1st fret of the G string. Curl your fingers, get your thumb low. That's your E chord. Then you move the whole shape down. You get the A minor chord. And you can go between those two chords just to kind of work on that switch. And now we're going to learn another 2-chord combo, G to D. For G, I put my middle finger on the 3rd fret of the thickest string, and then I'm going to put my ring finger on the 3rd fret of the B string and my pinky finger on the 3rd fret of the thinnest string. So they're on the top 2 strings of the 3rd fret. Everything's on the 3rd fret, and my index finger goes on the 2nd fret of the A string. Then I pivot off my ring finger, and I can make my D shape. So I have my G chord, I leave my ring finger down, I put my middle finger on the 2nd fret of the thinnest string, and my index on the 2nd fret of the G string, making a little like triangle shape. And we can use G and D to play some real tunes like What I Got by Sublime or Lively Up Yourself by Bob Marley. Now, from our G chord, back to our ring finger, we can slide our ring finger down to the 2nd fret, get it as close to the fret as possible, stack your middle finger over it and your index finger over that. You get the A chord. And with G, A, and D, you can play like a zillion more songs. Let's just pause the timer and take a look at where we're at. On our little checklist here, we've covered A, G, E, D, and A minor. Next, we're going to take a look at E minor. We take our E chord, we lift up our index finger. That's it. That's E minor. It's just one note different. And a lot of the time, instead of using your middle and ring, you will press those same 2 frets with your index and middle finger. You get the same shape. And from there, we can pivot off of our middle finger into our C chord. And that's like one of the trickiest beginner chords. So we have our E minor shape, we lift our index, and then we're going to kind of rotate our hand so that it's parallel to the fretboard. And I'm going to put my ring finger on the 3rd fret of the A string and my index finger on the 1st fret of the B string. Gives me my C chord. And the C chord is great because it's going to push you to refine your technique. You're going to have to get your elbow in, get your thumb low, get your knuckles forward, nice curled fingers. And from there, we can move the entire shape down and then move our ring finger to the 3rd fret of the B string, and we get the D minor chord. Now back to C. If we move our middle finger down one time, leaving our other 2 fingers, then put our pinky finger just underneath our ring finger on the 3rd fret of the D string, we get the simple version of F. All right, so let's check that timer. Not bad. Now, before we go, I'd like to share my #1 chord learning tip. The best way to learn them is to pick a song first and then learn the chords that you need. And you start with super simple songs that only use a couple easy chords. I've made this all super easy by mapping it all out. I've created a method that gives you a couple chord shapes, some songs to work with on those shapes, and then we repeat that a few times until you've mastered all the basic chords, while also developing your rhythm. If you're interested, I'll put a link down below to my membership site. It'll help you learn guitar properly in a fun, stress-free way. Whether you're an absolute beginner or you've tried before but struggled, I guarantee that this will make a difference. Otherwise, have a fun time practicing, and I'll see you soon.